Hi everyone, welcome to the YouTube channel of Floxus. This is the first video on Python Bootcamp course, which is totally for beginner. If you are new to coding and if you don't have any idea about it, don't worry, we are going to start from basic. So let's check the agenda of this course. So we are going to cover first we are going to install Python, and then we are going to see what is Python. Next we are going to see about variables, operators, control statements. Then we are going to work with sequences. Also we are going to do one mini project related to all these things. And then after that we are going to see about exceptions, error trapping, class object functions. Then we are going to see about modules and also the inbuilt Python packages. Then we are going to see how we can use Python for database communication. We are going to see about multi-threading, then unit testing with PyUnit, and then we are going to also create a graphical user interface. And finally, we are going to end this up with a final project. So, not delaying much, we should start with what is Python. Okay, so just like any other coding language, Python is a language. But why we should study Python? Why not we should study Java? Why should not go for C++? Or like why it is different? We are going to see about it. Okay. So first of all, Python is a high-level interpreted language that employs an object-oriented approach. Now, what is that? So high level simply means that it is readable, it is simple, and even if you are new, if you are beginner, if you read the code, you can understand what does that code mean and what is the function of that code. Okay, you can simply understand that because it is very simple. Next, it is like by this, we simply mean that it is programmer friendly language that whenever the programmer is either beginner or she doesn't know what is happening in that code. So by just reading that code, she can understand it. Okay. Next, it is easy to understand. It is simple to debug. Now, what is debugging? So like debugging simply means that if there is any error in the code, you can simply debug it. Okay, you can remove that error. Okay, it is simple to maintain, it is portable. Okay, now these are the features of high level language. Any language is a high level interpreted language, then that language has these features, that is it is portable, it is simple, and it takes less memory, and then it is easy to understand. Now what do we mean by portable? So portable simply means that that specific code, whatever the code that you are writing in this system, okay, suppose you are writing the code in this system, then you can easily carry that code to any other system. You can use it in any other system. Okay, that is called portable. So high level interpreted language can be easily be like they are portable. Okay, it can run in any platform, that is it is platform independent. Okay, and it is used widely for programming. Okay, so by this I hope you are clear with what is this high level mean. Okay, now high level interpreted language, we focusing on the interpreted part. We are going to see about it in our next slide. Okay, and also it follows object oriented approach. Now this is specific principles are there, oops concept is there. We are going to see about it, there will be a specific video on this. So I will just try to give you a brief idea about it. It simply means that whatever we see in Python, like the function or variable, all these things uh, are like it is considered as an object. Okay. Next point. Python is more preferred because of its simplicity. We know that because it is as simple as English, reading any English sentence. Okay, so powerful libraries. There are so many inbuilt powerful libraries that are used in various domains, either in machine learning or you can see in web development. There are so many inbuilt important packages like scikit, NumPy. So we are going to see about it. It's readable. You can simply understand. Okay. Python runs on an interpreter system. Now, what does that mean? We are going to see about it. meaning that code can be executed as soon as it is written, which takes less time. Now, first going to what is an interpreter means. So here you can see how like what is happening in the backend. As soon as you write any code in Python, what is happening inside your system or how the code is run. Because we know that we can read that code, whatever the Python code we are writing, okay, we are typing it. Uh, that is only understood by us. Computer cannot understand that. Computer only understand 0 and 1. Yeah, we know that. Okay, so like here you can see this is the source code. As soon as we write the code, like suppose I write print and then bracket, I write fluxes. Okay, now what happens as soon as I run that, these are the process that are happening. It goes to the interpreter. Like I've already told you all that Python runs on interpreter system. Now it goes to the interpreter. Inside interpreter, what are the things that are happening? First, there will be a compiler. Now, what does that compiler do? Compiler simply checks if there is any syntax error, if there is any error, any kind of thing, then it will check it. Okay. Then next, it gets converted or it translates that code, that source code, into bytecode. Now, bytecode is simply like we know that we have written that, or if we know that Python is a high level interpreted language, but computer for machine for this where we are running for machine, it is low level language is considered. Machine understands low level language. Okay, so bytecode is simply a low level language. What does that mean? So low level language is a machine friendly language. It takes more memory and it is tough to understand. You cannot understand bytecode. Okay, now so it is machine dependent. It's not like a high level language. And so this bytecode is then going to virtual machine. Now what is this virtual machine? As soon as you install Python in your PC, there will be a virtual machine that will be created, which will work, which will check for the which will handle the compilation part, which will check for any error, which will mainly convert this bytecode into machine language. Okay, the language that the computer will understand. Okay, that will be converted by this virtual machine. This is very important definition you should understand. And if you are a beginner, then these are the backend that is happening in as soon as you run any code. So what is happening first? First, it is going to the compiler. It checks whether there is any error or any syntax error. Then it gets converted to bytecode, that is low level language, which is machine friendly language. Although the processor doesn't understand bytecode, processor understands the machine code. Okay. So after going to the virtual machine converts this bytecode into machine code. Okay, binary number. Okay, so binary digit. Okay, so what happens after that? The code is run. Okay, in the processor. So here you can see this is the Python code, syntax checker and translator, like this part here, syntax checker and translator happens, bytecode. And then after that, we enter to the Python virtual machine, which is mainly used for converting our code into like whatever the source code was there, byte code was there, it is converted into machine code, and that is understood by the processor. Okay, I hope now it is clear to you all, because this is very important. And yeah, so now we come to the applications of Python, or mainly why you should go for Python. So like if you are a beginner, I hope you guys if you're watching this video, then obviously you are a beginner. Or you must be thinking, why I'm going for Python? Why not Java? Why not C++? So like uh, Python is everywhere. You can see, like in web development, if you want to pursue your further, like if you want to pursue your career in web development, you can use Python as your language. If you want to go for game development, you can go for like scientific and numeric applications, business applications, then artificial intelligence and machine learning. Like here, Python is very necessary for machine learning. Like there are so many built-in packages like NumPy, Scikit, then Matplotlib. There are so many things. Okay, software development. Python is totally everywhere, and it is very helpful for you if you know this language. Okay, so now we are going to go for installing Python. So let's go for it. For installing, we will be typing python.org, and then we will be going to the, yeah, downloads, and then yeah, here you will see the latest version of Python. You just need to go and click here, then Python will be installed here. And if it is already installed, I would request you all to just go for in your command prompt and just type Python. And if it is installed, already installed in your PC, then you will see the version. It will show you the Python version that is already installed. So till it is getting installed, you can just check if it is there in your PC. And yeah, now as soon as it get installed, you can just click here. You have to set the environment, and you have to set the path. Don't forget to click here like this part. We usually ignore this, but because of this there are a lot of problems that you will have to face, because after if you don't do this, and I guess you all are beginner, so you will have to manually set the path, and it takes, like, it is difficult for the beginners. So yeah, this is where, like this, all the, like, the environment will be set, and the Python will be installed, and the path will be set. Okay, that's all for Python. And for IDE, you have to go to JetBrains. Yeah. There we you can download PyCharm here, and you buy that after installing PyCharm. Python will be set, and you will be getting the ID, and you can simply run there. So I hope by this your Python will be installed, getting installed here. So it will take few time. Just wait for few minutes, and then you can check it. So here JetBrains is loading. Now you need to go to download. PyCharm is basically an IDE where you can run the code. You can, so now go for this community and free open source, and then after that it will be downloaded. You just have to just like you did in Python. You have to just click next, and PyCharm will be installed in your PC. And after that, you just have to create the project that we will do while doing the coding, like that. So till then, you just wait for it. Now, as my Python is installed in my PC, now I will check it whether it is installed or not. I will go to command prompt and I will type Python. Okay, as I have not set the path manually, I have just clicked that button, so it has been already being created, and path has been set. So here you can see, by just typing Python, you can see that the Python 3.9.4, the version is here. You can see that it has been installed, and you don't have to do anything. But if you have forgot to click there, like that add to path box, then there will be problem and you need to set your path manually. Okay, so I hope you guys have done it, and it has been installed. And here also PyCharm, as I already have it, so I have stopped it. If like you can just go and set that, it is very easy. Now we will continue with this. Okay, so let's just continue with this. We have installed Python. Now we will go to the first topic, that is variables. Okay. So like the name suggests, variable simply means a placeholder where any data, any kind of data, you need to store it. You can consider it like this, like there is a box which stores some data. Now, which kind of data? That is another topic we are going to see about it. Like here, you can see this is a box, and the box name is myInt, and it is storing this 4. So, what happens is that variables simply act as a placeholder which stores some data. Okay, it can be a list, it can be a number, it can be an integer or a float. Like here you can see this is decimal, which is called as float in coding language. Okay, so float type or character type or like a string type. Okay, so these are the data type that I have called, but for for understanding the concept of variable, you can understand it like a box which keep or which stores some value. Okay, now as soon as this value or this data has been stored in this box and it is closed, then what you see, like I have sent this, like suppose I'm sending one courier to someone. Okay, it is wrapped in a box, it is closed in a box, and the person who is receiving that courier, what he or she will see, he or she can just see this name myInt. Like he or she don't know what is there in that box, he can only see this name. So that's what variable name is. As soon as you store that value to that box or that variable, then that variable name will be called as, or it will be its name, and it will be used for its reference. So here you can see, if I need to print the value, if I need to print whatever the data is there in this box, then what I will call it as, I will use pi as the name. I will write print pi. Then what will be printed? This value, that is 3.14. So I hope you are understanding the concept of this coding. I have tried to make you visualize this. So what is the syntax? How do you code it in PyCharm or any other IDE? So you will go and just write. So basically, variables are containers for storing data values. We know that. And how do we do that? So suppose the container name, or you can say that box name is X, and what type of data, what is the data that is being stored? So now X is storing 5 as the data value. Okay. Now y equal to Fluxus. Fluxus is storing a word. Word is in the coding. In coding, we call it as string. Okay, whatever the word is, like any sentence or any paragraph you need to store, then that is called as string in coding language. And what is happening, if I need to print Fluxus, then what I will write? I will write print y. Now, what will be the output? It will print Fluxus. And if I write print X, then it will be printed, or the output will be 5. Okay. I hope you are understanding how easy Python is. You just need to store something in the variable. You don't have to declare what kind of variable that is, what type of variable that is known as data type. We are going to see about it in in our next slide. I'm going to tell you all what is a data type. But here you can see I have not declared the data type. I have not told the variable that what kind of value I'm storing in that box. I'm not telling you all. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm just storing that value. And you can even check, like the compiler, the Python, in this Python, the very the advantage is that you don't have to tell the interpreter that what kind of value you're storing. You can just type it in the code, yeah, you can just check it, the data type, by just writing type and then in bracket, just like this. Here you need to write type and then x. It will show you that in which type of data you have stored. It is integer type or a float type. You can just check that. Okay. So I hope the concept of variables is clear to you all, just like a placeholder where you store any kind of data. Okay. Yeah. So variables do not need to be declared with any particular type, or I would say data type. We don't have to tell it, and can even change type after they have been set. After, like, suppose I have written here x is equal to 5. Now after here, like after printing it again, and at last I will write x is equal to 7, then it is possible. It's not like once a value is has been assigned, it cannot be changed. It's not like that. In Python you can again change it. Okay, it can be changed. Okay. Yeah. So it works as a placeholder. And also, if you need to change, like suppose once you have a stored value, like here in this box, suppose you have stored a value integer type. Now you need to store hello in here. Okay, you want to store a string type of value, so you can store it. It is called as typecasting. Okay, like changing the data type, it is known as typecasting. Okay. Every value in Python has a data type. Since everything is an object in Python, as I've already told you all that the concept of oops is here. So I'm not going into deep, but yeah, as we know that everything is an object in Python programming, data types are actually classes. Now here comes the concept of classes and object. So yeah, and variables are instance object of these classes. There are various data types in Python. For till now, just ignore the part of class and object. I'm going to tell you in this video only. But for now, just have a hold to it. Okay, just give a break to that. Just check the data types, like what kind of data type we can use in a Python. So first we have numeric kind of data. Numeric stores all the types like float, integer, like complex number. So we have inside numeric, we have integer, complex and float. Okay. Second, we have sequence. Now in sequence, we have string, list, and tuple. We are going to see about all those in our, like, most probably in the next video, or in the upcoming videos. Okay, we are going to see about it. We are going to see the syntax. We are going to work with it. Okay. Next, the data type is boolean. It simply means true or false, either yes or no, or you can say 1 or 0. Okay. Next is set. Set is also a data type. It's just like in mathematics you have studied set. Yeah, you must have studied that. Just like that, it is there. Dictionary, it works just the way you have. You must be knowing a dictionary. Just like that, there is a key value pair format in dictionary. So we are going to see about all those things. Till now, just understand that there are mainly five kind of data types. That is first numeric, sequence, boolean, set, and dictionary. Okay. So we are going to see, or we will just code it. Okay. Okay, so now we will go to PyCharm, and then we will create new project. You have to name the project as, suppose, first create, and then it will create the virtual environment. I hope now, like, you know what is the purpose of virtual environment. Like it first takes bytecode and convert it to the machine code. Okay, so it will take few time. Few minutes. Just wait for a few minutes. And then after that we will be creating a project, and then we will code for it. Okay, you can see in PyCharm you have a terminal, you have console, and we will be now we have our project has been created. We need to create one Python file. You will right click here. You need to right click here, new, then Python file. Just write the file name, and then you get the Python file here. Okay, you can write your code here, you can execute. You need to go to terminal for running this Python file. Like if you need to run it, then you just type the file name and it will be executed. Now you can also write your code here, that is console. Okay, you can write here like suppose I assign one variable, suppose that is x is equal to 5. Here you can see that it is x is equal to 5 is an integer type. Here you can see, yeah, and it is a special variable. Okay, now suppose if I create I know you don't have any idea about like list and variable. Suppose I create one list. List is just like an array, it is a collection of data, it is a collection of value. Now this is our list. So enter, and here you can see that why a list has been created and the size is 4. Okay. Now I want to check what kind of what is the data type of this variable. Okay. So it is list, list type, and you can also go for set, you can also go for dictionary. But as you don't know how to do that, how to work with sequences, so don't worry, because we are going to see about in a specific video, we are going to cover that all those things. So I've just tried to explain how the like how you can check the data type of a variable by just typing this. Okay, so now let's just see how we can run our code. Okay, like suppose x is equal to 5, sorry, equal to 5, and y equal to suppose string type. Okay, so one more thing, whenever you need to input any kind of, yeah, if you need to write a string, you need to add this double quotes. Okay, whatever you will write, then the interpreter will understand that yes, it is a string. Okay, you need to write it in double quotes. You can write anything after that. This is best. You can see like it is a string type. Okay, so yeah, now you can also find what is happening. Like if I'm writing x is equal to x into 5. Okay, and then I'm writing print x. Any guesses what will happen? If you know it, you can comment it out. Okay, you need to write the file name post.py and it will print. Now you can see that it is showing the 5 into 5 multiple. Okay, it is arithmetic operator. We are going to see that in another video, so I'm not going much into detail, but I'm just showing that how it is working. Okay, like suppose I will write here y and then 5 times 5, then any guesses what will happen? Any guesses? So like here you can see it is not possible. Why? Oh sorry, I'm writing x here. So you can see 5 times. 5 times what is happening? Fluxus is best. Fluxus is best. And what is happening? It is repeating 5 times. Okay. So that's what it is happening. How you can repeat it. These are arithmetic operators. We are going to see about it in another video. So I hope like this video was basically for making you familiar with this IDE, that is PyCharm. You can understand how the working is, and what is terminal, where how you can run it, and there is one small task for you all, home assignment, that is just check the type for any 5.5 suppose. Okay, just go to the console and just check for 5.5. You will see what kind of class it is there. Okay, what kind of data type it is there. Okay, so moving back to our topic. Okay, so we have done the practical part also. Also yes, you can also check for true and false. I will just show it. That's a bit different. Some of them gets confused, so I will just show you. Suppose x, okay, equal to, suppose I write true. Okay, you can see it is boolean type. Okay, bool type, the type is bool. So this is how you can check how it is working. Just get familiar with all these data types. Just check about it, and don't worry if you don't know about set and dictionary, because I'm going to explain about them. Just get familiar with integer and float, and still, if you are having any doubt, you can ask your question in the comment box. Okay. Next, we are going to see about class and objects. This is very important concept because like we know that everything in Python is considered as an object. Now what is that? Okay, so before moving to the object, I would like to tell you all what is a class. So a class is basically a blueprint that is being followed by any other objects. Okay, like suppose it's just like a template. Okay, we are creating a prototype, a template, and if you need to create any other object, okay, then you can use this blueprint or you can take reference of that. Okay, so it's just like that. Suppose, for example, take this example. Suppose a car is there. Okay, car is a type. Yes, car is a class. Suppose, and if there is another car, like suppose under car there are so many brands. Suppose Ford, Toyota. So these are these are the objects that are following the properties of a car. Okay, like although it is like it is Ford, it is Toyota. Okay, sorry, Toyota. But what if anyone sees it, okay, if anyone watch something, then they will understand that yes, that is a car. Okay, it will not look like a bus, it will look like a car only. Okay, because why? Because it is following the properties, it is following the prototype of a car class. Okay, so what a class does, a class create a template, a prototype, which an object calls, and it can takes that it can call its attributes, and it can change it. Okay, it can change the property, like it can change the color, it can change the brand name. Okay, so we will just code it, and I will try to explain you all how it works. Okay, so just removing this. Creating a class is simple. This class and then class name. Suppose I have created a class name like car, and then there is a here you can see this space. This is very important. This is the indentation. Okay, sorry, it's indentation. Okay, so this space is very important in Python. Why? Because in any other programming language, what we do is we define the scope by curly bracket. Okay, by just defining like this. But in Python, what happens? In Python, we don't need to define that scope by manually. We don't need any curly bracket to define the scope. Like what does I mean by scope? Okay, a scope is basically the range up to which that specific code will work. Okay, like suppose I have created a class and now there is a space here. Okay, that is called as indentation. Okay, that space defines that whatever the code I am writing here, okay, whatever I am writing here, that will be working under this class. Okay, and suppose I have a backspace and I have written something here. This is not inside this class. Okay. Okay. I hope you are getting this. So this space is very important. This is called as indentation. Okay. Now I will create some variables. Suppose brand. Okay. Suppose XYZ. Because I'm creating a template, I can write it anything. Okay. Then color. Okay. Fine. Now what I need to do, this is a template. Okay, Now I can use this template for creating any other brand, any other, with any other color. Now I will, for that, what I need to do, I need to create an object. Okay, how the object is getting created? Suppose car1 equal to, you need to call this, yeah, you have called it. Now the object has been created. For your reference, you can even add comment. Now what is a, okay, so creating a comment simply means that after using this, okay, after using this hash, anything you write, it is for you. Like, you can just understand that compiler is not going to read that sentence, okay? So it is only for you, okay? So after that, what we will do, we can, we have created this, we have created two objects, okay? We can now change this value, because we have created, it's just like creating two cars, okay? It's just like that. We are following the prototype of a car, what a car looks like. Now we can change its property, we can change its attribute, okay? So we are just printing the initial value of the car, and it will print xyz, because initially it was xyz. You can refer to the attribute by writing the, by calling this, by calling the object. It's like creating an instance. We are creating the instance of the class, and we are calling the attribute, that is brand, and it will print xyz, okay? Next, we are changing that brand, because I don't want this car, okay, I don't want this car brand to be xyz, I want it to be Ford. So I can change it, okay, by just calling the object, that is car1 dot brand, and it will be changed. So by just printing this, you can see, initially it was xyz, now it is Ford. You can do it the same way for another object. So this is an example how an instance has been created of a class, and for creating, after creating that, you can change the properties, okay? So yeah, that's all. To suppose, and just calling the same as we did earlier, and then another object has been created. Now you can understand what is the main motive behind it. Here you can see, one template has been created, and now we have three objects, three cars have been created inside it, okay? So I hope by this you are clear with the concept of class and objects, although we have not uh, like I have not explained it in detail, because we are going to see in with functions, okay? We are going to see the coding part with functions. So for today, I hope you are getting familiar with PyCharm. Just focus on the basics, because uh, yeah, it's very important to understand it slowly and very nicely, very clearly. So by this we come to the end of our video. I hope you guys liked it, and do give your reviews. Thank you.